Hello, hello, my dear friends and family. Peace, love, and light to all of you. May all the warmth of the sun and our Creator come in and fill your loving space in your heart. Hello, hello, my dear friends and family. How are you? So let's start shuffling the cards. Let's see what we get today. What can come out? All right, let's see what we have. Controlled or being controlled, right? Controlled. So let's take a minute to think about the word control. How many of us in our life have either tried to control someone, control a situation, or maybe the opposite? Things turn around, right? Maybe our parents trying to control us, or maybe a situation in a job force that they like stuff really strict and you're not able to grow. All of that concept is about control, right? So let's see inside of us. Let's go inside of us and see what can we feel that trigger us. I know that in certain time of my younger youth, I tend to like to have control over my situations, or the simple fact of I like to have things in control to know where I'm headed, right? Being in control all the time has its goods and has its downfall as well. And trying to control others has a lot of other consequences as well, depending on the situation, or even when our parents are trying to control us and don't understand us, that also have consequences. But all in all, the word control is a very strong word. And somewhere in our life, we have journeyed to experience that kind of word. So, how do we overcome of not trying to be in control of things and just simply go with the flow of motion, right? Well, one, we have to really sit with ourselves, understand ourselves better, understand why do we get triggered a lot of wanting control or controlling a situation. Why is it that important to have that kind of control? You have your good ways of having control, especially like if you're running a business, you have to have foundations, right? Your bottom foundation where everything is supported, and then you start bringing in stuff. Well, there are ways, there are tools that you can learn. And of course, older people have, or take a course in college as well, have experiences on how to accomplish certain situation where you could have control, but it's not in a very bad way of controlling and tightening, and it is what it is and it's what I say. You have ways of actually doing things in a correct way to have control to get a good positive outcome in your life. But let's sit with the word control for a minute within our life. And the majority of growing up, we either have tried to control someone or either try to control a situation. And half of the time, we probably have done it really wrong. And that brings consequences, because when you don't think about anybody else and just yourself and just your own energy, people around you suffer consequences of anything that you try to control of, right? So when we go through the journey of understanding control, first of all, we have to look within us, because maybe we're the one who needs to be in control first of our own actions, of our own energy, of our own words that come out of our mouth, and what kind of controlling we're doing to other people as well, because that can affect them as well. But the key thing here is, why are we in that controlling situation? Did we pick it up when we were young? Did we see it around us all the time? Is it benefiting us to be that controlling, to control other people, or just control our lives, to always have that control? I mean, are we at peace? Majority of the time, we're not. And I can relate to this because the simple fact, I'm always one that I like to be, knowing what I'm in control of my destiny and what's going to happen next if I could be in control of it. So I always try to be in control of my life. But then I learn that there are just some situations you just cannot control. You have to let it be. And you have to deal with that inside, because it's something that we probably saw, or something that we think, oh, yes, being in control makes us more dominant. No, not really. You could get into a lot of heat and mess with that. That's for sure. But how do we actually then start conquering this, right? Well, all these things that you have probably felt inside, probably seen, write them down on that piece of paper. Take some time to actually listen to yourself, and jot down things that probably have triggered you because you've been wanting that control, right? Jot them down. Once you have your meditation and you go outside and you start putting like, oh, I remember this and I remember that, or I saw this and that's why it triggered me to be this way as well, jot them down. Get to know yourself on the inside. And you will see that when you start reading that half of the majority of being controlled, or people who don't like a person to be in control, some people have left you, probably you have created messes, or maybe you have even felt so aggravated with yourself or so unhappy with yourself because you didn't have, and you stressed yourself out and you didn't have that opportunity of say, oh, I'm in control, right? A lot of mess with it. So how do we turn this thing around? Well, I've learned to start listening to myself, as in like being patient, try not to take control of situations, but back off if something is happening and it's making me agitated, to start listening to these agitations and feelings, because I want to jump the gun, but something always tells me, don't do it. So then I back off. I start to listen. I start to understand, wait a minute, this is a sign of me wanting to control this. And the majority of the time, it's not the best thing. You have to ride that wave, right? Ride the wave. Take some time. And there's the best thing to always do. If you don't know something, or you're not sure just yet how to approach it, don't do anything at all. And if you have to say to someone, hey, I'm not so sure about this right now, I need to think about this because I'm feeling in a certain way, take your time with it. Because jumping all the time to being in control is not a good thing. You have to listen to yourself, get to know yourself. Why is that triggering you? Sometimes it's good to let somebody else take a judgment call and see what happens when you step out of that control kind of atmosphere. See what happens. See what other emotions come. And it might be just a good one. They might be like, "Ooh, thank goodness I didn't do that. I gave space and not try to control the situation because I might have done something wrong." And I could say that from experience because I always love jumping the gun and I always try to get, control of my life. So I've learned to listen, to say no when I don't feel good or I shouldn't be taking it. I listen to that voice. The other thing as well you can do is saying, I'll be right back, and go check yourself. Go check your feelings about that situation that you're trying to control, but yet you know that you shouldn't. Look at it in different ways. Because control is a very strong word, but there are different scenarios of how to approach it. And one is patience, listening to yourself, giving that space of like saying, I know I want to control this, but I know it's not suitable for me right now. Come to that conclusion of that mindset that, yeah, you want to take control of things, but don't do it just yet. Don't jump that gun just yet. Start listening. Open those feelings. And that's a way that you guys can start turning things around with that word controlled. And like I said, if it's kind of like a business thing, start doing a foundation, start Googling stuff that you can find. Because, of course, running a business, you have to be in control of things, but you don't want to overpower yourself to your employees because then nobody really wants to be with you or around you, right? Because they're going to think you're a control freak. But there are ways and there are steps and there are guidance. And there's a lot of other people that have gone through that journey as well. If you're building a representing a job or just building a job for yourself, there are steps and there are guidance. Take all that information for it could help you. That way you can learn also that you have boundaries and stuff and how to approach things instead of being in that control kind of state. So I hope this was helpful and that you guys can find something within you to turn things around and listen to yourself. Take that time and patience to listen to yourself. Don't jump the gun. Okay? Well, my dears, peace, love, and light, like always. Like, share with your friends. Hey, we're all here to heal and keep moving on, right? Okay, love you guys. See you guys later. Bye.